today we're talking about applying to the UK Foundation Program. What is the UK Foundation Program? It's a crucial step for medical graduates and international medical graduates who haven't done any internship or acceptable pattern of internship. What am I saying simply is the UK Foundation Program is how British medical graduates do apply for their foundation school, and IMGs also have the opportunity to do that. So who can apply to the UK Foundation Program? The UK medical graduates and international medical graduates who haven't done an internship. And for all intent and purpose of this video, I am going to be speaking from an IMG perspective because I don't know how it works for UK medical graduates, if the process is entirely the same thing. I know at some point the outcome is the same, but I don't know if the step is the same for everybody. So if you're an IMG and you haven't done any internship, okay, it doesn't matter what year you graduated from medical school, whether it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 1 year ago, as long as you haven't done internship, you are eligible to apply for the UK Foundation Program. Now, another set of people who can apply is those that their pattern of internship is not accepted by the General Medical Council. So unfortunately, if you did your internship and you try to apply for registration and GMC says, oh, maybe because you took breaks or it doesn't follow the accept, then in that case, you would have to apply through the foundation program. For IMGs, you guys know that once you graduate medical school, the next step is you apply for house job. In some places they call it house job, in some places they call it internship. So essentially, what you're doing is like you're starting your internship, but it's a foundation program in the United Kingdom. So how do you apply to this UKFPO that I'm talking about? So you have to create an account on Oriel. So I'm going to put the overlay of Oriel right here so you can see what Oriel looks like. Now, when can you apply to Oriel? So you cannot just go to Oriel and decide that you're just going to randomly create an account. So you can only apply for foundation program when the eligibility window opens or just a few days before. Somebody can correct me on that. I don't exactly remember which is which, okay? However, if you do have an Oriel account, then you can log into your Oriel account at any point. But again, you would not be able to apply to foundation program until the eligibility window opens. So for international medical graduates, the eligibility window usually opens a year before. What do I mean by that? So if you're going to be applying for your FY1 post and you're going to be starting that FY1 post in August 2024, application is going to start in 2023. And you do have this short window of period, you know, where you actually have to apply for internship. And when is the eligibility? So for this year, for those who are going to be doing it in the 2024, the window opens on the 4th of July up until 25th, meaning that you have from 4 to 25th to open an account on Oriel and to upload all the required documents. I hope you got that. Okay, make sure you go to the official website and check the information by yourself. Now, what does the eligibility entail, or what documents are required? The first thing I'm going to talk about is the English requirement. Now, in a separate video, I will talk about the English requirement for the UKFPO. But for some people, they do have to write the IELTS or the OET. And as of now, the UKFPO accepts general IELTS. If you want me to go in details about the cutoff, the scores and everything, just let me know and I will do that, okay? Now, another document that you need is your Dean's letter. And this is very important. And the Dean's letter, it changes every year, okay? So I would say that go on the official website. Well, for those of you that are applying 2024, the Dean's letter for 2024 is out. If you applied in 2023 and for whatever reason you couldn't begin your foundation program, you cannot use 2023's letter to apply for the next application. So please make sure you pay attention to that. And the Dean's letter is a document that is signed by the Dean in your medical school. It's not for you, okay? And for some people, the Dean's letter actually serves as a source of English proficiency. So for example, there are certain countries that are accepted by the GMC as English-speaking country. So if you graduated in those countries, then the UKFPO would accept your letter and you wouldn't need to take IELTS or OET. I hope that is clear. Another thing you're going to need is your medical school evidence, meaning that you need to have your diploma, your certificate, okay? So whatever you were given, when you graduated medical school, you need to have it, and because you're going to upload it on the Oriel website. Another document you're going to need is your international passport. Okay? And your international passport has to be valid, I think, for at least 6 months. So make sure that your passport is up to date. Another important document you're going to need is a passport photo. I don't remember the dimensions, but I think it's like the normal general passport photograph, okay? Now, another document, and of course this doesn't apply to everybody, but for those who did a change of name, maybe due to marriage, then you would need to produce your marriage certificate. So when I applied, because I did a change of name, and the name on my diploma is now different from my name on Oriel, I had to upload a marriage certificate to show that it's the same person, okay? Then the other thing that you need is your right to work. Now, for international medical graduates, you honestly don't need to prove that at this point. The doctor's job went on the shortage occupation list, right? So UKFPO was only considered for those who had the right to work. So what are those who had the right to work? Those that were, EU settlement area in Europe, I think, like Ireland. Because I remember a classmate of mine, we finished from the same school. She's Irish, and she was able to apply for the UKFPO, okay? But then they weren't sponsoring visa. So even dependent visa, unfortunately, even with a dependent visa, I think you couldn't even apply for the UKFPO because they put like, you cannot work as a doctor in training. So there was a lot of restriction, okay? The point is right now, you don't need to prove it. You're going to get sponsorship. What you will be given is your health and care visa. Then the last thing on this list is GMC compliance. Again, at the initial stage while you're applying, you don't need to prove it, but you would need to click on certain options like, okay, I have GMC registration and it has to be provisional. If it's not provisional, unfortunately, you're not eligible, okay? Then another thing is either, I have written PLAB 1 and I'm hoping to take PLAB 2 soon, or I plan to take PLAB 1 in November. And good news, if you're starting this journey and you don't have seat for PLAB 1, do not panic. Why? Because once you apply as a UKFPO applicant, you will be given priority seating by the GMC to take PLAB 1. However, there is a caveat. The caveat is that you can only take it in November. And for this year, the date is the 2nd of November. So if you are hoping to do it in February, unfortunately, you will not be eligible, okay? So don't panic if you don't. However, make sure you get your GMC, like your English, sorted out with GMC. Sort that out. Once you sort out your English, once you apply to the Oriel, make sure you take a screenshot, okay? Or just a proof that you applied for eligibility. Send it to GMC requesting PLAB 1 seating, and you will get it. And in that case, you're going to write your exam November 2nd, so start getting ready, okay? Yeah, so these are the things that you do require. All right, now another additional requirement, and this doesn't apply to everybody, is something we call the National Clinical Assessment. I made a video on this and I'm going to link it up for you guys later on to see, okay? Now, what is the National Clinical Assessment? Because I have a detailed video on that, I'm not going to talk much about it. But what I would say is that if you graduated 2 years after the starting of foundation program, you would have to take the clinical assessment. Let me make that clear. So for next year, foundation is going to be starting on the 6th of August 2024. And by the way, foundation training always starts on the first Wednesday in August. From my research, from my husband's experience, from my own personal experience, I do know that it's usually the first Wednesday in August. That's when you start the foundation program. You're going to start in 2024. That means that if you finished medical school by the 6th of August 2022, unfortunately, you have to take the clinical assessment. However, if you did your last exam or your last rotation on the 7th of August 2022, I know, you don't have to do it. So if you finished on the 6th or on the 5th of August, unfortunately, you do have to do it. There is no exemption. I'm really sorry about that. But you can get started early. Again, I have the video, so I would link it for you guys to go over it, okay? And if you have any questions about the clinical assessment, do not hesitate to reach out, okay? All right. Now, another thing that is important is the primary medical qualification. And yes, so you're going to fill that part on oral, and they would ask you information like what is the name of your university, what country your uni is located in, what was the start date of your medical degree, okay? So make sure you verify this information. If you've forgotten, make sure you verify from your university, and what day did you end your university. Now, another question that they would ask you is if you expected to complete an internship by August 2024, guess what? You will not be eligible. Okay, so again, remember, it's really for fresh graduates, okay, or those who have never done internship. All right, another thing they would ask about is your postgraduate qualification. If you are not doing anything, you're just studying, feel free to say you were just studying, okay? You don't have to make up anything. You don't have to have anything. It's not going to change anything for you, okay? So if it's that you were just studying post-graduation, or you were, maybe you started a family or you changed career, whatever it is, put it there. But if you don't have anything again and you were just, studying, maybe trying to figure out your life, feel free to put it there. Literally, not those words, you get it just right, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So once you've applied, what happens next is the eligibility outcomes will be released, okay? And for this year, the outcomes will be released on the 10th of August, 2023. And what are the outcomes? You could be told that you're eligible, but for most IMGs, you're going to be eligible with conditions. Now, some of the conditions are some of you would need to take PLAB and get your GMC registration. Some would be that all you need to do is your right to work, again, which you would get visa sponsorship by the time they allocate everybody. Another is that you might need to take the national clinical assessment. So there's some of you, like when I applied initially, I was eligible with conditions. So the conditions were I had to do clinical assessment. The next condition was I had to fulfill the GMC, which is I had to take PLAB 1 and PLAB 2, then the right to work, okay? So for a friend of mine, so my friend's eligibility outcome was just taking PLABs and doing the right to work. So there was no clinical assessment. If you are not eligible, can you appeal? Absolutely, yes, you can. And if you want me to talk about the details of how to appeal, then do let me know in the comment section. Now, there is something with regards to UKFPO, and that is they are very strict with timelines. When I mean strict, I mean if they say it closes by 12 noon BST on the 25th, then you don't want to mess with that deadline. I've gone over all the required documents, so make sure your diploma, your passport, your English, all of these things are ready in time for application. Okay, and once you're done, you will be applying to foundation school. Currently, about 19 foundation schools. They haven't really published like the guidelines fully for 2024, so I will update you guys on what the foundation schools are and how to apply to the foundation schools. Okay, so if you do have any comments, any further questions, again, do let me know in the comment section, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Okay, and do not hesitate to reach out, and if you know anybody who needs this video, do share it with them, okay? And I must say, please click the like button. It does help the channel grow, okay? Thank you very much, and see you next time.